As the choices are laid out before you, everyone looks to you expectantly, waiting for you to make a decision. You don't know when this happened, but it seems like now you're the leader of the group. Whether you like it or not, what you say is going to matter greatly here. Hi there, I'm Dr. Megan Connell, and this is Psychology at the Table. In this episode, we're going to be discussing leadership. Now, whether you want to or not, if you're running a game, you're a leader. You set the tone, create and enforce the rules of your table, and set up what the expected behaviors are. Creating clear boundaries and expecting good behaviors and being quick to address bad behaviors are all part of what makes a great inclusive gaming table for everybody. So why is it important to develop your leadership skills? Well, understanding how being a good leader impacts the people around you can really translate to a good, safe gaming table. Part of what makes a good leader are creating clear boundaries, enforcing those boundaries, and then understanding how to praise people when they're doing the things you want to do. Now, we'd all love to hope that our friends are going to be great at the gaming table and we're never going to have a problem. The truth is, our friends are humans, and when we get a group of humans together, we're not always at our best. And so understanding how to set expectations, how to address behaviors is going to be something incredibly valuable to you as a game master or dungeon master. So some really quick tips with this. You want to set clear expectations. This is where session 0 is so important, talking about what you expect out of your players and what your players can expect out of you. If there's certain things that you're very particular about and you want to see happen, you need to outline those in session 0 so your players understand what's expected of them. For example, if you really are a stickler for time and say the game starts at 7, what that means is everybody's sitting at the table ready to roll dice at 7, not we're arriving at 7. If we're telling people this expectation early on, they understand what to expect, and when you call them out on it or say, hey, you're not doing what I asked, it doesn't come out of the blue. They get why you're saying something to them. You want to enforce your expectations too. If you say you expect a certain behavior, but then never enforce it if people are misbehaving, so if people are arriving late to your game and you don't ever address that, and suddenly the game that's supposed to start at 7 is now starting at 7:30, 7:45, people will understand like, oh, you don't really mean what you say. If you want people to understand that you mean what you say, you have to enforce your expectations. Now, this doesn't have to be being mean or cruel. It can just be a reminder of, hey guys, we're supposed to be starting at 7. I asked you all to get here then. This is really important. And, addressing it. You want to correct the behaviors quickly. If, again, in this example of wanting the game to start on time, people aren't coming on time, you want to enforce that day, that they're not coming in. When they come in, talk to them later and say, what's going on? Why aren't we getting here on time? I want the game to start on time. You want to tie the correction to the behavior as soon as possible. The human brain has a really hard time with delaying either gratification or punishment. If we're getting punished for something that happened months ago, it's really hard for us to understand that and want to make changes. Just like if we're getting reinforced for something that happened a long time ago, it can be a little hard to wrap your brain around that. So really, as soon as you can, you want to address behaviors. Generally, try to follow the guidelines of praise publicly, criticize privately. So if you're having to critique somebody's behavior, if they're being disrespectful or rude or arriving late to the game, you want to address that in private rather than in front of the rest of the group. On the flip side of that, though, if someone's always showing up on time, they're being very respectful and helpful and being just a great player and the kind of player you want to see at your table all the time, praise them. Tell them like, hey, I really appreciate what you're doing there. That's awesome. Thank you so much. It doesn't have to be any more than that. Generally, what we want to do is we want to focus as much as possible on the good behaviors and minimize the bad behaviors in a way of not giving public attention to them. We still need to address them, but again, address them privately. Address the good behaviors publicly. You want to be following a 5-to-1 ratio, so 5 praises to every 1 critique. So if you find you're just telling your players bad stuff all the time, really think about it and try to find the stuff that they're doing well and doing right and praise that, because people naturally will want to start doing more of the things they're getting praised for. And again, the praise doesn't have to be over the top. It can just be, I like that you always know what you're going to do on your turn. It really helps streamline combat. That's it. That really helps people understand what's expected and how to behave. Now, reading books on leadership can also be really helpful to give you other ideas of how to address problem behaviors, how to set the tone for your game. I'll put some links to some of my favorite books on leadership down in the doobly-doo. Also, reading books on leadership can help you understand how to translate your skills as a game master into skills that are applicable in the workforce and how to communicate how being a game master is helpful for you in the job market. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful to you. If you have questions and comments, go ahead and leave them below. And as always, let's make space at the table for everyone.